Shepherd of the Hills Community Engagement Leadership Team. This team has been discussing what the communities surrounding Shepherd's needs are and what Shepherd can offer. These discussions have made us realize there is plenty of leadership at Shepherd, and we would like to highlight it by interviewing some members that are spreading goodness and love through the communities with their actions surrounding Shepherd. Today, I'm going to talk with Lisa Walker about the Blake Road Corridor Collaborative, the BRCC, which is comprised of government and community organizations that focus on the safety of the corridor, neighborhood improvement, and youth. Hi, Lisa. What is your role with the BRCC and how did you become involved?
Hello, Hillary. Hello, everyone. I am an employee of Hopkins Public Schools Community Education, and a lot of our work is done in community organizations. And when the BRCC formed, we were one of the partners that came to the table to help do the work in the neighborhood around Blake Road. And so my role at the BRCC was to represent all the youth and families that live in the corridor. And what was my responsibility as an employee of Hopkins Public Schools, what was our role in helping that community evolve, strengthen, and have access to many systems that some people don't have access to. So that was the role that I took when I sat at the table. Also could get the lens of family needs so that we could work with partners on how that might look. So, yeah.
That sounds great. How does the BRCC fill the community's needs and change people's lives?
So the BRCC is based on a collaborative mindset, and it's based in human relationships. So the role of all the partners at the table is to listen to the people who live in the neighborhood or the people who are affected by what's happening in the area that we're concentrating in, listen to their voice and support them in realizing how they might activate their voice and work on behalf of their neighborhood and their families. And so the philosophy of the Blake Road Corridor Collaborative under Ann Boyk, who is the person, all these entities come to the table and we form relationships with people and help them build themselves to a point where their voice is heard. So it's more about relationships, it's more about empowering and teaching people how to use this grassroots effort to make change for the change that they want, not for what the institution might say the change is needed, but what the people who live in the neighborhood really, they have their voice be heard.
Do you have maybe a story of an example of some thing that you've done or been involved with one family or a group?
So I think, we've come a long way with a lot of work. When this started in 2005, it was with an AmeriCorps Promise Fellow, and it's evolved now to a human staff person that's on the payroll, paid through by grants. But I think there's been a ton of amazing things. The one that I specifically enjoy the most is being able to provide swimming lessons through Swimming with Friends to Somali young women and Somali adult females who have never even been in a swimming pool before. So we were able to access money through a grant and hire high school students who were swimmers, and they were female, and they provided the swimming lessons in one of our pools at the district level. And then we were able to get these women in the water, and they'd never, ever been in a pool, and what it meant and to what do you wear, because they don't, our Somali population doesn't wear swimming suits or didn't have the swimming suits, which we would think that they would wear. So they're designing their own swimming suits and what that looked like from the first week to the last week that they wore. And just the joy of watching high school females and this Somali population of females come together and learn from each other. And then the impact it had on these high school girls and how they said it changed the way they they interacted in their world after that, and how these young women and older women from the Somali culture, just the amazing experience of getting in the water, maybe even, 6-7 weeks later, maybe their face went in the water, but the idea of floating, never experienced before. So I think that's when I have pictures and video of that experience, and I will never, ever forget that experience. So just little ways that you can have enormous impact by just getting to know people and listening to what they would like, and having the opportunity to provide that is really rewarding.
Oh, yeah, very unique and very special.
Yes.
So, Lisa, how is your involvement in the BRCC an expression of your faith?
Well, I feel like human connection and the act of love, especially, in the environment we're in right now, is an expression of what Shepherd has been for me and my faith journey since I was young. It was always this reaching out to other people and forming a relationship and expressing a love for humanity. And then for those of us who have, what do we do in partnership and by human relationship do for people who don't have? And it feels like a person of faith, it's their responsibility to sort of conduct their journey in faith through that lens. And Shepherd is always, I've been at Shepherd since my daughter was a second grader, and she is now 28. And I always, no matter what leadership was there, I always felt this incredible love and incredible grounding in what's right. And so even though I'm not there all the time, I feel like if I ever need anything, a resource for my community, a resource for Shepherd, or any kind of partnership, I can always rely on the people of Shepherd, because they act in a way of genuine love and genuine knowing that this is the right thing to do.
Oh, that's very special. Neat.
Yes.
What else? What would you say to members of Shepherd in ways that they could support or help the BRCC?
Well, just because in light of everything that's happening in the world, there's always money. BRCC always needs money. I also think prayer for good things for BRCC so they can keep this work going. I also think just the idea of reaching out to people and forming really good relationships with someone who might not look like you. So if your comfort zone is what Shepherd looks like when you go to church every Sunday, you might want to think about somebody who doesn't normally sit in the seat of Shepherd, and where might you find a person like that to form a relationship and understand their journey through being here in Minnesota, being here in Hopkins or Edina. And I think everybody has an opportunity to learn the world through a different lens, which might not be a white middle-class lens, and what we can take away from that in the climate that we're living in right now.
I think the website is a good place to go for it. I found that it was helpful for me to give me background, and then avenues to communicate to, Anne and
Yes.
other people, and it has a list of the events that are happening.
Yep, and anytime you want to, and many of us, we've had many events at Cottageville Park. Anytime that you can see on the website that Anne's doing gardening down there, that's the perfect way to go down and just cop a squat in the garden and have a conversation with who lives in the neighborhood. And that's a lovely way to get to know the people who live in that neighborhood.
All right.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful neighborhood to walk through too. So if you live in the area and want to take a walk.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for your work with the Blake Road Corridor Collaborative, and thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you, Shepherd, for all the support.
You're welcome.